everybody. This is Becky Willard with Vox Studios. This is the first segment of what I call Producer LingidyLing. I'm talking about the language of a music producer. If you are an artist that hopes to someday create an album, this entire segment is focused on teaching you, the artist, all you need to know in order to select the right producer for you and to speak their language so that you can best convey what you need and want in your music. First of all, what is music production? Well, music production is basically the process of taking a song from its inception, like the lyrics and melody, to the final product that you could send to a radio station and they could listen to and agree that it is up to commercial standards. How it is produced defines the genre that it fits in, even the decade that it sounds like it's from. If you've ever heard an unfamiliar song and then said, oh, that sounds like an 80s song or 90s or 60s or 50s even, how would you know what era it's from if you had never heard it before? Well, it's the way that it was produced. It was the way that it's mixed, the types of effects that are used, the way it's processed, and the synthesizer sounds, and all of those things are part of the production of a song, which now you can understand why that is so very important. You don't want to produce a song and have people think, well, this is really out of date. And you would be like, why? Why is it out of date? Well, because your producer was not current in the sounds. But then there's also the potential for doing something that sounds like it's from another era on purpose, but you've got to make it sound current at the same time. Adele would be a really good example of that. Her sound is kind of retro 60s, and yet you can tell it's modern, basically because of the songwriting and certain things that have been done in the mix. I have to keep turning off the beauty face. It keeps coming on. I don't know if it's trying to tell me something or what, but anyway, we'll talk about all of these things in more detail. Like what all those words mean, processing, synthesizers and effects and all that stuff. Future segments will be covering all of the specifics. We'll also talk about different types of production and how to choose the best producer for you. It is important that you understand that how music is produced is one of the most important decisions you will make as an artist. So understanding what it is and how to communicate what you want in your produced songs has got to be one of the most important things you do as an artist, second to honing your musical skills, of course. To get a great understanding of what music production is, I strongly recommend doing a little bit of homework, listening to Michael Jackson's, I think I've got it wrong, oh, it's right here, Michael Jackson's Escape album, the deluxe version. It includes songs in their originally produced state, and then it also includes the same songs reproduced to sound current with today's best producers and cutting edge sounds. I just, when the first time I listened to this album, I was just almost crying because, well, first of all, I love Michael Jackson. I mean, he's one of my biggest inspirations, but I love learning about production and like the way that it's used to create moods and feelings, and I love that. So this is a great education right here. Now, as you listen to it, pay attention to the differences in the two differently produced songs. One of the songs, Love Never Felt So Good, which I think is the only one that's really taken off from this album as far as mainstream pop. I hear it in the stores and in the mall and stuff like that. There's a version with Justin Timberlake that's pretty popular. Well, there's actually 3 versions of that song on this album. One is when it was originally produced with Paul Anka at the piano and Michael Jackson singing in the studio. You can hear kind of background noise a little bit. I mean, it's just real rough, kind of what I would call like a scratch production. And then there's the 1986 produced version, which is, full orchestra. And then for this album, Timbaland put his spin on it with his signature percussion and everything. So it's so dang cool to hear the differences in the 3 different versions. So that's it for today's Producer LingidyLing. I hope you'll join me next time because we're going to be talking about some very cool, specific bits of information, including how to pick the best producer for you and your music.